Hello everyone, and thanks for clicking on the link to view the free training on how to generate revenue from your invention. This is an absolutely free training. It's designed to just give you general information and guidance on how the entire process flows. My name is Sam Jalul. I'm the CEO of IDML Products, and we specialize in this particular area. What I first want to cover is that, the goal for today, for this presentation, is basically to equip you with everything that you need to turn a basic idea that you have into a real revenue generating business. Even if you are not an expert in the industry, just by having an idea and having the passion and the will to see it through, you would be able to get this product to market and generating money for you. We've developed a proven method that is not just theoretical but actually works, and I'll be explaining a little bit more on that later. So what I'm going to show you today are the exact same strategies that I have used to grow my business to $4 million per year in just 4 years. And at the end of that 4 years, I sold that business. And now I decided basically to give that wisdom and the experience to other people to be able to do the same. So who is this training for? So this training is for inventors who have great ideas. You might be, knowingly be an inventor or not knowingly be an inventor. Sometimes, you come up with ideas every day, but you don't know that you're doing it. So it could be for new products or services, and you don't know how to go about it. It's for entrepreneurs with existing businesses looking to expand their products through innovation in order to keep up with the competition and other companies. It could be for employees who are looking to eventually quit their 9-to-5 jobs and have an idea that they want to develop on the side and eventually get it to a point where they're able to leave their boring 9-to-5 jobs and start a business of their own. Or for seasoned inventors who have inventions and would like to know how to best turn them into revenue. You have serial inventors that are just a bundle of ideas, but they simply need the right guidance and the right focus to be able to take them to market. So some house rules. So obviously this is not a get-rich-quick method. So don't think just by doing this you're going to get rich quickly. It's not do nothing but click a button and make money. So it's not for the lazy. Neither my results or my clients' results are typical. So successful inventors and entrepreneurs are hardworking and put in the effort, and you have to do the same if you want this to work for you. So the results that you get are entirely up to you. So we're experiencing one of the most phenomenal growth in the world. So innovation is what is driving the consumer industry at this stage, and it's extremely competitive. So what types of innovations can you find out there? So you can have completely new products, never seen or heard before, improvements on existing products that have been around for decades, and people are finding new ways to improve them, making do it faster, quicker, in a different way to solve a problem. Regardless of whether the invention is old or new, they all have one very basic thing in common: is they're all there to solve a problem. And that is the basic sort of root of inventions and innovation, is that they are there to solve a problem. So right now is the perfect time to start your own business derived from the invention you created, because everything around you, investors, the market, everybody is thirsty for new inventions and demanding it, and more and more. Previously, people used to have to wait years in terms of gaps between one product innovation to the next. Now they're demanding it much quicker and much faster as consumers. So a quick story about myself. So as I said, my name is Sam. I'm a consultant living in London at the moment. I've lived in many countries around the world, including the Middle East, Europe, and I've settled back in the UK. I was previously a corporate slave, as I like to call them. So you're 9-to-5, you're a slave to your company with no real security to be there in the long term. I'm an inventor, an entrepreneur, and which led me to grow my business from nothing to over $4 million per year. I sold my business, as I mentioned earlier, and now I'm focused to help others do the exact same thing, using all of the knowledge and the methods that I've developed over the years. Here are a few just articles that I was able to get as part of my product that I invented. Some of you can do some research on it if you like, and I'm happy to give you some more information offline if you wish. It was a revolutionary product, and again, you don't get many of those that come around in terms of being a revolutionary product. Sometimes they're much smaller in terms of the innovation, but this was a milestone in the industry, and I'm happy to say that I was the one to actually have done it, and I got the recognition that was deserved for it in terms of all of this earned media and awards in the industry. So imagine yourself 3 years from now. So look at yourself right now and think 3 years from now where you're going to be if you go down the route of actually developing your invention and making it into a real product and taking it to market. So just spend a couple of minutes to think about that. So some misconceptions people have about inventors. So, a lot of people, when you talk to them about inventors, they always think, oh, you have to have a college degree, you have to have a master's, etc. To be an inventor, you need to be an engineer, a mad scientist, cooking in the lab, in the basement of your house, locked up in the basement, mixing potions, etc. This was the old misconceptions of what inventors are. And also they think that, inventors need huge sums of money to actually invent and to develop a product. And with the technology nowadays and the access of information nowadays, and the fact that, you have people like myself which offer these sort of guidelines and services to people, it's become more and more accessible for people to invent. So these are all misconceptions, and they simply are not true anymore. They may have been at one point in time, but not in this day and age. So the biggest mistakes that inventors can make is basically doing nothing. So the worst mistake you can do is have an idea and believe in it and do nothing about it. Because I guarantee you, there will be someone else that will come along and have the passion and the guts to do something about it and actually do it. And you will see it in the market, and you will hate yourself for not having done anything about it. So that's one of the worst things that you can do. Other risky mistakes could include, divulging your idea, obviously, to someone without an NDA. It's very important for you to be careful who you speak to, and even before, we speak, if we do speak at some point, we would sign an NDA so that you're comfortable discussing it in more detail. Obviously, sharing it on a public forum is a complete no-no. This will risk you not being able to get any patents on the product. And launching it without a patent is a risk, because someone can file a patent at the same time that you're developing the product and end up putting you out of business. So the only 4 things that you need to generate revenue from your invention are quite simple. So number 1 is a viable invention, and I'll explain to you in a bit what that means. Number 2, protect your invention. And number 3, develop the idea into a product, so going from invention to product. And number 4, your go-to-market strategy. Those are the 4 simple things, and these are proven to work. I've done them, and I've shared them with other clients who have done the same, and they were able to get their product to market. So step 1, a viable invention. What is a viable invention? So an invention must have a viable need. There has to be a genuine need for that product or that invention. It must solve a genuine problem, otherwise it's not innovative, it's not an invention. An invention must be novel, i.e. not just copy of something else. It must be industrially applicable, i.e. it can be manufactured using today's technology. It has to be inventive, i.e. should not be obvious or easily conceived for a person that is skilled in the art of that particular industry. The whole objective is to ensure it is viable before spending further money on it or risk legal issues if a similar product exists and no homework was done. So, you want to validate each step as you go along. So how do inventors know if their invention is viable or not? So the easiest way is to get a patent attorney who will be happy to charge you, several $1,000s to do this for you. You can do basic search engines, which is a good source, but doesn't give you a real indication of what is out there behind the scenes, which hasn't actually made it into the market. And you can do these basic patent search firms, which will do a cheaper search for a few $100s. But when I started my business, I did a combination of all three, which cost me almost $10,000 just to get past this stage. So knowing what I know now, I know the best way to navigate it and to get the best result out of this. So the end result of this step is a risk reduction factor for you and your potential investor from launching the product. So you're validating this step. Step 2, protecting your invention. So once you've searched that it is a viable invention and you've established that, you need to protect it immediately. So the very first thing that you would do is you would file a provisional patent, which buys you some time for you to actually develop your product before filing a non-provisional patent. And then you have other patents like design patents, for example. And these patents are usually granted by government authorities to allow inventors or the people that they've assigned it to have exclusive and sole rights to make, use, or sell the invention for a set period of time, usually 20 years. Additional protection can include trademark and copyright for other elements that are not patent related. Why should you protect your patent? Well, it gives you exclusive sole rights for 15 to 20 years. It gives you the ability to monopolize that particular industry and the ability to license the invention to others for a percentage of royalty. The ability to bring suit to anyone who tries to launch a product which violates the claims approved in the granted patent. How expensive are patents? Well, you can end up paying $3,000 to $5,000 for a patent, and this is an expensive process, but with my proven method, you're able to minimize the amount that you spend, targeted at what your goal and objective is. And had I known what I know now back when I started, I could have saved myself $30,000 to $40,000 on my product. So the end result of this is again a further risk reduction factor for you and your potential investor from launching the product. Step 3 is develop the idea into a product. So taking the invention and turning it into an actual physical product. And this is one of the most complex steps, as it can be quite intimidating. And there are 4 phases within this step in order for you to get to that stage. So number 1 is just to do basic sketches. Number 2, turn those sketches into 3D technical drawings. Number 3, physical prototype. And number 4, a final product sample. So the basic sketches are, as you can see by these pictures, are just simple drawings. They can be done by you or a professional, and they just show in general what the key elements of the product is, and the features. And they will contain annotations, typically text, to explain certain features to the designer. Phase 2 is the technical drawings. Usually are done using, professional software such as AutoCAD by a professional 3D designer. These are very technical drawings with exact measurements, shapes, functionalities of the actual invention, and they will be layered in such a way that you can inspect each element by itself separately. This can be quite expensive to get done, but again, I have managed to find ways to get them done at reasonable prices and still at the desired quality. And basically, the next stage would be to take these designs and create a physical prototype. So it's a physical model replica of the technical drawings. Prototype can be non-functional or functional. So you can do a 3D printing if you just want to see what it will look like and feel like. But if you want a fully functional prototype, you need to team up with expert manufacturers. And obviously, through my time, I've been able to do that quite effectively and cost effectively. It's important that NDAs are obviously signed with all of these people to ensure that you maintain the confidentiality of the product. And this will be the most costly part, because prototypes will cost between $300 up to several thousands, depending on the technical complexity and material requirements for it. But the end result will be, in fact, a basic working model of your product, which you can test and adjust as required. And once you've done that, you can then move to your final sample, which will be as close to the final product as possible, and it can include the color elements, the logo elements, etc. And those may entail additional costs for you in terms of somebody to design the logo, or somebody to design the basic shape of the product to be more consumer friendly. So if you've reached this stage of the process, you've not only proven to yourself that your product works, but also to any potential investor you are talking to. So then step 4, which is the final stage, is the go-to-market strategy. So what is that? So it can be confusing and daunting for certain people because you have made it this far, but do not let it discourage you. Every product and business will have a different go-to-market strategy. So it all depends on the goal of the inventor, and the industry. In the most simple way, it basically tells you how to take your product from your physical product and get it on the shelves or online for people to actually be able to purchase. If you are able to answer this question on how you can do that, then you have your go-to-market strategy. But before going to market, how do you plan to fund the go-to-market plan? So, I mean, you can either do it through private investment from yourself, if you're able to, private funding from investors or venture capital, crowdfunding on reliable platforms such as Kickstarter, or license agreements in exchange for royalty, which is probably the cheapest one out of the lot. But through my experience, I've been able to actually, develop each one of these areas. So I would be able to assist in each of these particular areas, whether you want to seek investment, or you want to do crowdfunding, or you just want to license it out. So the end result of step 4 is a further risk reduction, obviously, factor for you and your potential investor from launching the product. So to recap the training, and sorry I had to rush a little bit through it. You can by all means take your time to do it, and if you choose to schedule a free session over the phone or Skype, then we can obviously go through it in a little bit more detail for you. So step 1 was a viable invention. Step 2 was protecting this viable invention. Step 3 was turning this invention into a real product, physical product that you can actually hold and see and use. And step 4 is the go-to-market strategy. So if you want to learn more, we can schedule today a free 30 to 40 minute consultation call. It's absolutely free. There's no obligation. You simply just click on the link on the page where the video is, and it'll take you to a very short survey, just 3 or 4 questions that you just need to answer before you book your session. So you'll see a calendar and just select which time slot suits you best, and you'll get all the information on how you can actually get in touch with me for this call. Through Skype mainly is the main way that I like to do it. And you'll get the Skype ID and everything there, and we'll be able to schedule a call. So thank you very much for taking the time to look at this, and I sincerely hope that you will schedule a call. If you've made it this far in the presentation, then you are serious about making your invention into a real revenue generating product. Thank you very much.